For the cake, you will need 1 1/2 cups of cake flour. And since we don't have cake flour, we have here a substitute formula wherein we removed on this part 1 tablespoon of the all-purpose flour, and we are going to replace it with 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. So there. So this is in effect 1 1/2 cups of cake flour. So originally it's 1 1/2 cups of all-purpose flour. We removed 1 tablespoon and replaced it with 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, and we are going to sift that to make sure that it's well combined, and that turns it into cake flour. And here we again have 4 large egg yolks, or the yolks of 4 large eggs, and you will also need 1/2 cup of white sugar, and then royal true orange. Now if you don't have this, you can use any other orange carbonated drink. The original recipe for this calls for Meryenda, which is quite hard to find now, so we don't have that. Another substitute that you can do is get the sun-kissed concentrated orange and then mix that, and according to package instruction, and then use that. Right? You will also need 1/2 cup of vegetable oil. Oh, by the way, for the royal true orange, you will need 1/4 cup. Then you have here 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And now we're going to add our sugar. So we have the stove set at medium heat. So we will use a wooden spoon to spread it over. Make sure that it's even, so that when it starts to melt from the heat of the stove, it's going to be even. So there, it's starting to melt now, as you can see there. So once you see that, you're going to have to start stirring, because you don't want it to burn. See there. Now you just want it to be a honey-colored syrup, kind of golden brown, and not too dark like the one that you see in your taho. That's gonna be bitter. So you have to be vigilant with stirring, otherwise you're going to have a taho like arnibal, and that is bitter. You don't want that. So we're using a silicone spatula. No, a silicone pair of tongs to hold the pan, because it's quite hot. You can burn yourself, so be very careful. Okay, there. It's starting to turn into a honey-colored syrup. So again, patience is a virtue. Now this is again the old-fashioned way to make your custard cake. Since this is a recipe that came from my friend's mom, who, by the way, had passed away a couple of years ago. So this is her legacy. So Mommy Lou, thank you so much for this recipe. Okay, we are swishing it around. To make sure it doesn't burn. There. So just, turn your pan sideways, each and every direction. So kind of flows around the pan. Make sure it doesn't stay in one place so it doesn't burn. Yes, this is a I would say a labor-intensive way of making a cake, but it's gonna be so worth it. We are almost there. So there's just very little sugar granules that you can see. You have to make sure all of them are gone. That's the way to do it. So you get that smooth top. If you leave some of the granules like that, when you unpan it, it's not going to have that mirror-like reflection on top. Okay, so now, as you can see, it looks like honey, a little darker than your regular honey, and there are no more lumps, so it's good. We're going to let it rest while we do the rest of the cake. First, the egg yolks and the 1 whole egg plus our evaporated milk and the 3/4 cup of condensed. And once we're done with this, we're going to pass it through a sieve to make sure there are no granules from, no, not granules, but lumps from the egg whites, so that you're going to get a super smooth filling. add your cake batter into your meringue slowly. You can divide your cake batter into 3 parts and add the first part into the meringue and then cut and fold. Do not use a mixer, just cut and fold. Once the first part of the cake batter is already incorporated, you can add the next part. And just do the same process until all of your cake batter is incorporated into your meringue. By this time, your glaze has cooled and hardened. Need to pass your custard mixture through a sieve to make sure that there are no egg lumps that are going to get into your custard. Pour your cake batter that you have mixed with your meringue on top of the custard mixture. Now don't worry if it sinks a little, it will all float up after you have rested it a little bit. done. Now we just need to check if it's baked through. Ooh. Clean as a whistle. So it's done. We're going to take it out of the oven. Now don't worry about it being domed like that because that's still going to deflate a little. Now if you want to cut off the top, that's fine.